So the time has come, and today we're replacing the spark plugs on my GSX-S1000. So based on the owner's manual, the spark plugs are supposed to be changed or replaced around 7,500 RPMs, but this bike came equipped with NGK's ingredients. So I did not feel like this plug that will go bad as such a mileage. So I decided just to keep him for longer. To be quite honest, I feel like the bike still pulls pretty hard on the top end, so I was not super concerned about it, but I just recently started feeling some hesitation on the low end, so I decided to maybe just start ruling out the possibility of the spark plugs being the one going back. If you're new to the channel, this is my GSX-S1000 and is one of my 3 bikes that I own right now out of about 42 bikes that I've owned in my lifetime. And today we're changing the plugs on this bike, and my channel is all about making modifications and hopefully helping you to see how you do a little bit of maintenance on your bikes, as well as some other modifications, normal maintenance, and some other stuff. You probably have seen me taking my bike apart a lot of times, so I'm just running super quick through all of these steps. My encouragement to you, or my advice to you, is just don't cut any corners. Do the best you can to make sure that all your leads are unplugged, everything is unplugged, and before you start with your process. Here I'm starting to pull the leads. I'm not gonna lie, that first one is so close to the frame that it's really hard to really get your hands in and really be able to have a lot of leverage so you can pull it out. But after some pulling and pulling, eventually it's just gonna come out, so just be patient. In addition to that, I'm just taking them all out, and you'll see in a second that I will be taking measurements of the gap that's on the new plugs, and I'm also taking some measurements on the ones that I just removed to ensure that I'm actually replacing spark plugs with the same gap. And if there's not the same gap, then just ensure that I'm actually installing or just gapping them appropriately based on what the ones that came out, because I didn't have any issues. So I feel like that's the gap required for this plug. This plug should be pre-gap, but sometimes there's a chance that you can get some for shipping or whatever that has been dropped, and there's a possibility of the diode or the actual lead at the end being bent. So it's not a bad idea to always check them and to gap them if they need to be gapped. For the purpose of the video, I'm actually removing each plug, putting the new plug back, and then I'm leaving the coils unplugged, or actually unsettled or uninstalled, so I can show them to you later and you see what was the burn on each of the spark plugs. But you don't have to do it like this. You can just remove the old spark, put the new spark, and then just install it back, push very hard down on the coil, and then you can just plug it back the lead, and you should be good to go. Just if you're wondering about additional cables that I have in here, remember that I have a power commander, I have a quick shifter, and all those things are either interrupting fuel or spark, so you're probably gonna see additional cables that you do not have in your bike. And you know me, although not required, if I can take a safety measure and make sure that I'm not over tightening the spark plugs, I'm just gonna pull out my torque wrench, digital torque wrench, and if you're wondering, I set it up to 8.5 foot-pounds. So let's talk about this for a second. So you don't have to do this, but for the benefit of the video and those who are watching and maybe just wondering how what is normal, what to look for and what not. Like I mentioned before, this is 17,000 miles. I want to say maybe 30-40 passes at the track. A little bit of a nitrous, not a whole lot, but this is one this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. I did not see like a lot of deformation. Maybe I feel like maybe this one, and it might be me, I mean it might not even true, but the tip looks like a little bit, I guess, less pronounced than the OEM ones, which I'll be posting a picture. And then in terms of just looking at, you know, the coils, you know, for the most part looks pretty good, pretty decent. I did not see anything that concerned me, nor I felt like, you know, the hesitation I was feeling in the bike was, you know, due to the coils, but you never know. So I'm just gonna, you know, just want to point it out. I see the burn looks, you know, somewhat okay. I don't think the bike is running rich. The first one is the one that, you know, maybe looks the darker, but I'm not super concerned about. I mean, like I said, the bike calls for 7,500 miles, you know, change. These iridium plugs, you know, are fairly good. So I mean, I did not hesitate to take it for longer and then just do my interval, you know, longer than expected for the bike. But since I'm racing this bike and using, you know, nitrous once in a while, I decided, you know, that it was the best case. And so this is just to give you an idea of, you know, how they look like. At this point, I'm applying pressure, you know, to all of the spark plugs. To my surprise, I kept applying pressure, and you can tell that the coil was continued to go down and really doing good contact with the top of the spark plug. So just make sure that they are all the way seated before you you know, understand they are completely installed, seated, and you put the airbox on top. Okay, so now with all the leads, you know, in place, it's time for us to put the airbox. In case you haven't done this before, start with your runners or your rammers that are, you know, pointing to that frame, the holes on the frame, and make sure that they are seated on each of the runners on the throttles, and then start tying up. I like to put my hands on top so I can put pressure and make sure that the actual airbox is seated all the way down in the run. I will be moving super quick through the installation because this is reversal from the process we just did a couple minutes ago. So if you have any questions, go back to the beginning of the video, or shoot me an email, shoot me a message if you have any questions. Alright, so let me give it a try before I end up putting all the plastics and making sure that it actually works as expected. So what I'm doing right now, it's exactly the area where I was expecting to get a little bit of, I guess, hesitation, and so far so good. I think attest that if you start getting some like weird, like low end hesitation on your bike, look into your spark plugs. And I know it sounds kind of silly and something pretty basic, but I have a bike with 50,000 miles on the clock, and I also have, I don't know, 40 some bikes that I've used in the past that I never had any issues with spark plugs. And I don't know, like I never felt like a loss of power in the way I felt the loss of power on the low end on this bike. So I guess that's what I wanted to bring up to your guys' attention today, I guess. Yep, so I'm gonna do maybe a couple pulls. I never felt like loss of power on the top end, but maybe I'll feel it different today. I'm just gonna keep it on the 5,000, 6,000. Yeah, right here she will be hesitating. Yep, man, what a beautiful day. This is crazy. Wow. Alright, so I'm stopping here pretty quick so I can engage the launch control pretty quick to see if I see any difference. Let's do it right now.
awesome. Whoa, nice. Did you hear that? I'm happy. It's hot, man. It's like 102 or whatever right now. It's hot. So thank you guys a lot for watching the video. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. And man, have an awesome Sunday and be safe.